police have released the name of the female stabbing victim who was murdered in Toronto's Cabbagetown.
Junk food could get a little pricier, and Margaret Atwood joins the zombie phenomenon. Humber News starts now.
Welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at the North Campus. I'm Lisa Gillen, thanks for joining us.
And I'm Jeanette Liu. Ahead on our show, we have all your news, sports, and entertainment highlights, as well as your 5-day weather forecast. But first, Lisa has our top story.
Toronto police have released the name of the victim in the Cabbagetown murder that occurred yesterday morning. 51-year-old Nagista Semret was stabbed several times while walking home from work around 7 a.m. yesterday. As shown in this surveillance video, the victim was walking ahead of the suspect, who followed her south toward Bleecker Street. The suspect has been described by police as a white man between 5'10" and 6'2", and was spotted wearing a dark coat, a light-colored scarf, and a dark hat.
It would appear from the video that the suspect has his right hand inside his jacket, and he appears to be clutching at something, and I'm going to suggest that that's a knife.
Investigators are asking anyone with information to contact police.
The TTC is hoping to provide cell phone service on subway platforms by 2014. A plan will be voted on this afternoon that could make all platforms cell phone ready. Riders will be able to use their phones while waiting for the train, but not necessarily while riding in a tunnel. The deal involves a broadcast technologies company from Australia that will pay the TTC $25 million over 21 years to equip Toronto stations with wireless access.
In the same meeting, the TTC is voting on a proposed relief subway line. The line would relieve congestion at the Bloor-Yonge station. A new staff report has made it an urgent case due to overcrowding on trains in that area. Employees are currently surveying which route would benefit from the relief link to the city's east end. The expansion would cost $3.1 billion.
Those with a sweet tooth or salt craving could pay more for their snack and have to look at an ugly picture too. Ontario doctors have suggested the province do more to keep unhealthy foods away from the population, especially young people. Katie Fraser has the details.
That bag of chips or candy bar looks good now, but junk food packages could start to look more like cigarette boxes. The Ontario Medical Association launched a campaign to help prevent health problems associated with obesity. The campaign aims to label foods and beverages with high calories and low nutrition with graphic images the same way cigarettes are labeled.
I think that would make me kind of want to throw up and feel like that food would do that to me, you know what I mean? So I would actually wouldn't lie.
Ontario doctors also suggest imposing higher taxes on unhealthy foods and lower taxes on less healthy foods. Ultimately, the government did put graphic labels on cigarette packages and tax them higher, but would the same sort of system work for unhealthy foods? Dean of Health Sciences Jason Powell says taxes on unhealthy foods may infringe on citizen rights.
I don't know if it would be good for government to do that. I don't know if it would be good for the population for the government to do that. I think that sort of erodes some of our free market economy issues. It would erode some of our suppliers' ability to have a business.
Former Mayor of Toronto David Miller says taxing junk food may be the way to go, but there are other alternatives.
But if you put all these things together, you know, if we buy local food, it tastes better because it's fresh. It gets trucked from shorter distances, so it's better for the environment, and it's much likelier to be healthier.
Katie Fraser, Humber News.
Thanks, Katie. Toronto police are looking to make roadways safer by cracking down on dangerous driving today. The Project Alert initiative is targeting traffic violators in areas that have been identified as congested or that have a high number of vehicle and pedestrian collisions. The initiative will spread across Yonge Street from Highway 401 to Finch Avenue West and along Bathurst from Steeles Avenue West to Finch Avenue West. Transport Canada estimates that automobile collisions cost Ontarians $17.9 billion each year.
Video footage of 19-year-old Ashley Smith allegedly being mistreated in prison is set to be screened publicly in coroner's court today. The Correctional Service of Canada has kept the video from public view until now. However, preceding coroner Dr. John Carlisle ruled keeping the footage under wraps is without merit. Smith choked herself to death in prison while prison guards watched in October of 2007. This is now the second inquiry into her death after a lengthy process under the province's former coroner last year.
Reports of 5 deaths and a heart attack have been linked to Monster energy drinks, raising concerns and questions about this popular beverage. Clover Sterling investigates Monster consumption on campus.
The popular Monster drink may be causing harm to its users, regardless of the warning on the can that say only consume 1 a day. Humber student Joseph Agostino, a Monster drinker, says he buys the drink.
I'd say I consume from 1 to 2 bottles a week, depending on if I have to study or not through the night. Keeps me up during night.
Humber students can buy their Monster drink at the Java Jazz. Antonio Foliano gives advice for the consumption of the energy drink.
Like everything in life, everything needs to be done in moderation. So if you abuse anything, you could end up sick or hurting yourself.
Okay. All right. Gourmet Express does not sell Monster drink, but sells other type of energy drink. Kelly Elliott says students will still have the drink available to them.
Especially in a college where kids are staying up all night studying and partying and all kinds of different things. Coffee and energy drinks are really big, they're really popular, and it's probably not something that we would consider taking off the shelf.
The Monster drink comes in different flavors, and despite the warning on the label and the high caffeine content, students continue to consume the product because of the benefits they say they receive. Clover Sterling, Humber News.
Ontario Finance Minister Dwight Duncan has decided to follow Premier Dalton McGuinty into retirement. Duncan, who was a potential candidate for leadership of the Ontario Liberal Party, made the announcement this morning. He says many Liberals have urged him to run, but after being in office for 25 years, another 5 to 10 was a lot to consider. The announcement has opened the door for former Minister Sandra Pupatello, whom Duncan endorses. He doesn't have another job lined up. Duncan says he would consider coming out of retirement to run for federal office in the future.
When we come back, we'll have more news from across the country and around the world. Sarah Ricks will have the sports news, and we'll have your weather forecast with Melinda Warren.
Make sure you keep your umbrellas handy today as there is more rain on the way. We'll have the highs and lows of your 5-day weather forecast after the break.